The second review of the extended fund facility program that was approved for Sri Lanka by the International Monetary Fund last year commenced in Colombo on the 7th of March to assess whether the program is on track or needs to be adjusted in light of new developments. 2 weeks later, on the 21st of March, the IMF staff team and the authorities reached staff-level agreement on economic policies to conclude the second review of the IMF EFF. Last evening, Sri Lanka's second review was taken up for consideration before the Executive Board of the IMF. Following their consideration, the Executive Board announced that they had completed the second review, thereby unlocking the third tranche of the program amounting to around $336 million. With that amount, the total IMF financial support disbursed to Sri Lanka now stands at around $1 billion. In a statement following the approval of the third tranche, the IMF stated that the recovery remains gradual and the medium-term growth potential hinges on appropriate policy settings. The IMF stated that growth is projected to recover moderately in 2024 to 2025 given constrained bank credit and fiscal consolidation while facing uncertainties around debt restructuring and policy direction following the elections. Deputy Managing Director and Acting Chair of the IMF Kenji Okamura is of the view that Sri Lanka's performance under its fund-supported program remains strong and added that all quantitative targets were met except for the marginal shortfall of the indicative target on social spending. Okamura stated that despite the positive developments, the economy is still vulnerable and the path to debt sustainability remains knife-edged. The IMF Deputy Managing Director noted that important vulnerabilities associated with the ongoing debt restructuring, revenue mobilization, reserve accumulation and banks' ability to support the recovery continue to cloud the outlook and added that strong reform efforts, adequate safeguards and contingency planning will help mitigate these risks. Further, Kenji Okamura highlighted that to restore fiscal sustainability, sustain revenue mobilization efforts, promptly finalizing the debt restructuring in line with program targets and protecting social and capital spending remain critical. He added that advancing public financial management will help enhance fiscal discipline and that the debt management framework needed strengthening. The IMF Deputy Managing Director also noted that monetary policy should continue prioritizing price stability, supported by a sustained commitment to refrain from monetary financing and safeguard central bank independence. He stated that continued exchange rate flexibility and gradually phasing out the balance of payments measures remain critical to rebuilding external buffers and facilitating external rebalancing. He also added that restoring bank capital adequacy and strengthening governance and oversight of state-owned banks are top priorities to revive credit growth and support economic recovery. Addressing a media briefing this morning, State Minister of Finance Shehan Semasinge expressed confidence in reaching agreements with bondholders.
We are very hopeful. Likewise, we have come into agreement in principle with the bilateral creditors. We will be able to decide soon on signing the MOUs. It is being highlighted by the IMF also, but at the same time, the IMF has recognized the progress made in debt restructuring discussions. So the next step would be the ISP holders, which I have always told that we are very confident that we will be able to reach an agreement in principle with our bondholders and to ensure that we have a swift completion of the entire debt restructuring process.
Minister, when you say soon, is there a timeline? Can you give us within the month, next week, what is it?
I think it is not fair if I tell a specific date, but there is a time frame. We are very confident that we should be able to reach consensus by the end of the month. So that is our target, that is a timeline that we are working on. And we are confident with the support which is extended by our creditors, we should be able to reach our targets.